Do you need a Harlowe build with the highest damage potential? Absolutely insane team utility, with some crazy new tech discovered, whether you want to farm drill sites, vaults, or what have you, all while being maintainable on the hardest difficulty, UVHM5. Also, as you see with this build, we can essentially maintain our ability nearly forever. Super high stacks of damage with literally any weapon. And yes, we can also still do the oof damage, which is much more maintainable with this. Then I got the Harlowe build for you. What's up, World Stopia here, back into another video. Today we're checking out all things Borderlands 4. Okay, so let's just jump right into the build. What's going on? We'll go over the interactions that are happening within this build, why they're happening, and what is essentially kind of going on, why I've changed so many things as some new tech has been discovered. And I've also gone over some suggestions from my comments, dropped a few different traits here, and tried to optimize this one as much as possible so we aren't overtaking in any of the traits. As per usual, we're going to go ahead and reset our skill tree. We're going to start out in the green tree to make this simple, have changed a few things here. Then we'll get into what's kind of playing in part here. Now, this is a flux generator build, as you can see, but we're not using flux generator. Get into exactly why. We're going to go 5 of 5 into momentum, as this does give us some nice crit damage, and we kind of have to. Again, the class mod actually doesn't count for your passive points here. It's not going to get you into the next tier, so you will have to do that. Next up here, I still like Neutron Decay. What I've noticed is it does more damage, or at least I've seen other creators kind of rock this build lately. A lot of them jumped on this bandwagon here, and a lot of them were rocking different ones here. I still have seen at least my damage overall is a little bit higher. If you wanted to, you could take reload speed. This one isn't bad as well to go 5 of 5 in, so if you weren't doing irradiated damage either with an SMG or even with a grenade, you could tank that. I might swap into it, but that's your choice there. I would definitely either go into Mass Function or Neutron Decay. That choice is up to you. With this build, we did drop Resonance Cascade, and we also did drop Creative Overflow. Went into both of those builds there, kind of maxed both of those, but we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to go into Conformative Reality. We've done this before. We're going to put 2 in this one this time, though, as we do need to really min-max our points to make this build possible. We're next going to go into 5 of 5 Absolute Zero. Now, I had this recommended by a commenter. This is a really good ability here, and this is going to freeze our duration of our action skill duration. So essentially, when our Halo is running down, it's actually going to freeze that for 4 seconds, which is quite insane there, and you'll see we'll tie it into some other things so we can even get it more and get our stacks up really high. Again, this is going to depend on a class mod that you have that will kind of play into this, but we also will take another passive that will help, so don't worry there. Next up here, we are skipping this entire tree. Now, I will show off a tip here. There was a commenter that wanted me to take Gamma Ray because I was doing 5 of 5 into Certainty Principle, which kind of interesting here because the last build we were doing the Hellwalker, which is kind of regenning those ammo into our barrel. What you could have actually done is gone 1 into here and then 4 into Gamma Ray. And that would actually have unlocked this section here. Didn't know this. Very nice tip there, so very cool to see that one. We're going to use that one in another tree here just in a second. Next up here, we're going to go 5 of 5 into Refraction because Ricochet is just really good and it increases our chances there. To min-max as best as possible, we're only going to be able to put 4 into Excited State. So we're going to slap 4 into there. As I've noticed, we do need survivability, so unfortunately we are going to take 2 into Distribution Function. I didn't want to, but we kind of have to for survivability purposes. To select our abilities here, we are going to grab Nuclear Winter. As you know, it plays really well into our group study, so these do coincide together. You do have to take both of these. You cannot swap to anything else. You have to take these in tandem with each other as they do coincide with each other. They help with the cryo damage you really need for this build, and they also help with your Halo sidekick here, which is now just a bubble that is around you, and you can buff your teammates with gun damage, fire rate, reload speed, duration rate, etc. This is really good here and very strong. Now is where we get into the complex one, and you'll see exactly why we need exactly 21 points in order to make this work. In fact, you need exactly that on this tree. There is no other way to make it work. So first off here, we're going to go 5 of 5 into Parallel Circuit, which is just straight gun damage. Pretty hard to take something else here in place of that Parallel Circuit, just the strongest one on that first row. Next up here, we are going to go 5 of 5 into Bright Future, and we are going to do that trick that I just talked about and put 1 into Negative Entropy, and then we're going to go 3 of 3 into Precision Engineering. As you'll see, we are still not into our next row. Here's what we need to get to. We need to get into this row down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 1 into Quantum Immortality. This one's up to you entirely. There are a few cool abilities here that you could go into if you wanted to. I really don't think they're needed. Action skill rate, the increase to elemental damage is pretty bad. Crit chance we already have a great amount of. Nothing really good here. You could go in ripple effect, but this one in tandem with our green tree is actually going to pair very well. 12% shield restore, and then also getting the 1% into our health regeneration. I've noticed it does give me a bit more survivability, so I like those. Again, this point is up to you where you want to go, but it does unfortunately have to be in the blue tree in order for us to get down here. Now is where we get into the stuff that plays into absolute zero. So we have to go into this tree here, and we're going to get some nice bonus damage here with cryo. Again, we're doing cryo because we're in nuclear winter. Specifically, while we are inside that bubble, we will deal bonus cryo damage. If we leave the flux generator radius, which you typically don't unless you kind of shift out of, you're in that bubble, that actually might be some kind of mechanisms that you can toy into where you're constantly shifting out of that bubble to get that bonus radiation damage. However, you are inflicting cryo damage, so that's why we're playing into that, and we get that 35% bonus there. Next up is here where you kind of really need is the flash freeze. This is essentially going to, every time she deals damage, have a chance to freeze enemies, and that happens for 8 seconds. Again, that's going to pair very well into absolute zero. That did get recommended. Again, thank you for that. Thank you for the suggestions. Really have been working on this build very hard to get this as optimized as possible. I have tried to rock cryo energy and just done 50% here. It really doesn't work well. I don't know what's going on with cryo efficiency, so I wouldn't take it at all. Currently, it's just not very good. Unless you maybe get a cryo weapon, you could probably tie into that a little bit. As of right now, though, not very good. I haven't been able to do much testing with a cryo weapon, but maybe I do that next. Or we can get rid of these points here because we could save 7 points if we do have a cryo weapon, put 5 into here, and then we have 2 extra to kind of toy around with. However, currently, that's not the case. So this was going to kind of pair out everything here. This is going to be your build setup and how everything does play out. So this is the exact tree that you should be looking at, and hopefully as optimized as possible. Again, if you need more life, take one out of here, put it in distribution function, as you'll need that. If you want more confirmative reality, again, take it out of here, put it into confirmative reality. So take any of the points you want extra in other places, take it out of excited state if you wanted to do so. This one, however, the only thing you can do is kind of move around in the boxes here that you need to. Everything else is pretty utilized. This one point here you could move to somewhere else, but it has to be in this top tree. Next up here, we're going to get into our gear and how this actually plays into it. As you'll see, there is one extra point here. Now, there is a few other ones like this one, and obviously don't really care for this, but there is one point here, and this is a must. It's in control group. This is going to allow us to get our flux generator to constantly be restoring itself. As this stopping it, this flash freeze, essentially allowing you to have the infinite ability there, that's not enough to keep it running for long enough to get 10 to 20 stacks. You need to have control group. Again, thank you for the recommendations on this one. A very, very good ability, and you're probably going to need to get this through a class mod as we don't have enough points here, and we'd have to take too many points out of this tree, so we couldn't do that. So unfortunately, you will need to have a class mod with control group in order to make this all kind of coincide and work together. As of right now, I only have one. I can still get to about 12 to 13 stacks max, usually around 8 to 9. That's of our group study, where we're getting all those kind of capstones there. But eventually, you should be able to get even higher if you do have this 2 and 3, especially if you have this at 3. You'd be able to get up to like at least 20. To go through my gear quickly, I really do not have the best gear. There's actually a lot better stuff that you can have on this. In fact, there's even an SMG that you should get with the underbarrel. Don't have that currently. The only way I have it was with this assault rifle, and it's a charge weapon, so it's kind of annoying there. You also still can use the Hellwalker, which is really nice if you wanted to. A few other cool weapons here, like if you wanted to use, again, the secondary on the alt fire. I have heard people wanting to test this Torque licensed sticky magazine. It does okay. Not the greatest there, but it can stack highly if you can get your stacks up. Again, I unfortunately struggle a little bit because my class mod only offers the +1 of this one on the far right. As you can see, you really need that. Again, it's the Savant mod. You really want that one as well. I have +30 damage on it, which is pretty good, +30%. So just taking some baseline stuff here, getting my radiator grenades. I still like doing that. My favorite shield, the Barrage Generous Fireworks. And we just have some SMG damage here and some gun critical damage. Nothing too crazy. Again, there's some other stuff that you could probably get here that would be a lot better, as I don't have the best setup with this. Currently, this one's really good for shotguns, so even getting the Jacobs license parts, 40% ricochet to non-crits, although we're doing a ton of crits already, so it doesn't really matter a whole ton. The Boori SMG though is very, very good to rock on this one. As you can see, it does a lot of damage when you do have your stacks very, very high. The reason why I'm struggling to maintain my stacks high, again, is because I just have +1 control group. Don't have another mod right now that is better. I would even take it even if it didn't have the plus 30% damage there. So that's really what makes this build kind of go together very, very well. But again, nothing too crazy with the gear wise. We'll go over our specializations very quickly before I forget. Now, I have seen some other ones being taken, like this one, the bullet train is very, very good. I've seen, which you move, you get more damage percentage there. It's definitely one that I would have thought about going into. I'm not going to reset this skill tree as it just costs a little bit too much, but I am still going to here, and my game plan is still to go ahead and get this one, which I do think could be very good. But I also wanted to get 20 into this one just to kind of make it happen. And then I am going to get the one shot here under this once I get 20 into here. I do think one shot's going to be really good because excess damage will be stored and added to the next gunshot. I still think that one's going to pair decently well. But overall, there are some better ones on here that you actually probably could get, especially Bullet Train. I really wish I would have gone for this over here. If I do respec, I would go for Bullet Train. I'm not able to kind of min-max this as much as I want to, as I didn't get the game as early as some people, so I've been kind of having to go through and work on it as I go. There are a few other things here, like damage dealt can increase with your shields or your health. This one's fairly decent here because we're constantly regenning, so it's another good one for damage dealing. But these are okay so far. Riddle You This, I think, is a really good one. I think everybody should take this one because you're getting gun damage and it stacks up to 50, so 50%. Lasts for full duration, and you typically have that on the whole time. This one's still good when aiming with your Vault Hunter. You do gain some damage here, some gun damage. Now we're going to be aiming a ton, and so it does actually help with the SMG stuff there. And then also the Compounding Afflictions is okay as well because we're constantly dealing radiation, cryo damage, and a few others. So another decent one. Also, depending if your weapon has shock damage or anything else like that, you're going to be doing even more. So there are some decent stuff here that you can actually play into. But yeah, more than likely, I would probably go this tree, grab this one. There's also, again, the one shot and even best defense. A few there, but really, we're getting gun damage here on the baseline. We're also getting reload speed on the baseline, and we're getting crit hit damage on the baseline. So these are not bad at all, and definitely will pair very well. Eventually, you could go into these and grab those. But that's what I'm rocking right now for these 4. Quickly here, I'm going to try to show up the rotation the best I can. We're going to do it over here so you can kind of see the playstyle of it. Unfortunately, again, I only have +1 to group study, or the control group there, so I might not be able to hold this as best as I want to. We're going to go here and pop our grenade right away, or pop 2 of them. And you see, every time we freeze an enemy, we're going to stall that, which is really, really good there. We're kind of going to be spamming our F key, which on mouse and keyboard, to basically keep popping and proccing our stuff. See, we might lose it here. Now we're going to get those down. That's unfortunate there, but that's okay. We'll get some more here with the whatchamacallit there. We'll grab some of that. Hopefully grab more. Keep spamming our grenades. And again, every time we freeze an enemy, we are getting that. You see, we're basically stalling our stuff, which is really good here. We have some great sustainability so far. We're doing even more damage. We're up to +1 right now. We can't even see how many stacks we're at. We're maintaining this very well, actually, for only having +1. You see, you really can min-max even with the +1 here, although it is better to just have it in full. But we're going to get some more here, maintaining, which is nice. You kind of have to play very aggressive with this playstyle to hold that. But when you have more pluses, it won't matter. I'm going to swap to this weapon. It is very good. And you see, we kind of just melt all the way down. Now, unfortunately, we weren't able to hold it, right? We weren't able to hold it too long, but it only had +1. If I was a bit better there, I would have hold it a little bit longer and actually more focused. Fortunately, because I wasn't able to maintain it as long as I wanted to and get something frozen, which I probably should have done. But you see the damage is a lot more intense than what we had before. It is very, very strong. This boss in particular, the Hellwalker, is probably better, and my other build is probably better because it does ricochet. But overall, it's not bad at all, and you see we're doing really good damage just even with a baseline SMG. Like, this is not a very good SMG at all. It's just regular purple. Nothing crazy about it. So, yeah, really, really good damage. See, we're up to 3 stacks already. We're freezing again. Yeah, overall, this is just a really strong build. You see, we're up to 5 stacks. Normally, this is where your build actually cannot maintain anymore. You see, it'll drain very, very fast. So, yeah, overall, pretty decent there. And that's basically the rotation, just going through it. And hopefully, you kind of get the gist down. Now, if you did get 2 into control group, you'd have a lot more there. Instead of the 2% on the duration and 3% on cooldown, you actually would get a 4% there on elimination. So you're basically doubling what I was doing there for each one, and yeah, you'd be able to maintain that a lot better. So obviously, over time, once we get better mods, even 3 in that control group would pair very well, so you don't have to play so aggressive. But yeah, this is definitely going to be the highest damage build so far, especially with the green tree going through it. And even on bossing, it's still going to have very, very good damage, as its baseline is still very, very high. Overall, though, it should about cover for today's video. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and into the next one. Deuces!